Hello and welcome back to ManVFilm. It's time for another Blu-ray announcement video. This time we have 88 Films, quarter one of the new year. Where they're talking a lot about the kind of things that they have announced, whether or not they'll come to fruition. Sometimes they get delayed. We're going to have a look at these 3 months separately and see if there's anything interesting. And there are some curious releases to talk about here. So let's dive in and have a look. First up, we have January. We have some titles here. We've got Mosquito Squadron, and they're releasing Blu-rays of these as well. It looks, DVDs as well as Blu-rays. Mosquito Squadron is David McCallum, I believe, from the late 60s. It's been a long while since I've seen that one. It's a weird kind of announcement. Not quite as weird as Loch Ness, a movie that I faintly remember being released. I don't think I ever saw it. I would love to know if you have seen it, if you have any thoughts on it. I don't see me picking that one up, but I am curious. There is Tokyo Decadence, which, having a look, is an early 90s Asian film. Again, I don't really know too much about this one. SWAT is the Colin Farrell movie, which is just a typical kind of action movie, and we'll talk a little bit more of that in a minute. We've got Fight Back to School trilogy that's getting a standard release, and we have a Blu-ray of Night of the Comet, which had a previous Arrow release. Now, this is kind of indicative of where 88 Films is going, I think. I feel as if they're in a current moment where there's no clear direction. They're starting to kind of fragment and go into different avenues, which makes interesting announcements. I mean, you have a 60s war movie, you've got a 90s or early 2000 action movie, a Fight Back to School trilogy, which is, well, to be honest, pretty fun. Loch Ness, Night of the Horror. It's all over the place. I kind of appreciate that because you don't know what you're going to get next. But probably out of this lot, I would say I'm most interested in Tokyo Decadence. If Night of the Comet was 4K, we may have a discussion there about that. Into February, we have a 4K release of the Amityville Horror. We have an early 2000 Shikui action movie, So Close. We have a 1970s Italian film starring Franco Nero, Street Law. We've got the Roger Moore Gold that was previously announced by Signal One, I think, who must have lost the rights to that. I'm kind of interested. And then we have Evil Dead Trap 1 and 2. Bunch of titles there that are interesting. Amityville Horror getting a UK 4K release is great. It would probably be the same release or the same transfer as the Vinegar Syndrome release, which was fantastic. I am interested a little bit on So Close. I will dig more into that. Street Law is one that I am getting. I love the Italian collection, Franco Nero, Italian Poliziotteschi type of movie. I am in. I've not seen Gold in a number of years, so I would like to revisit that at some point, but not an initial purchase, I don't think. And Evil Dead Trap 1 and 2 is something that I've heard about often, and it's always something that kind of piqued my interest. Title alone makes me sit up and pay attention. These look phenomenal. Just the artwork is amazing. Evil Dead Trap 1, 2, and Street Law will be essential purchases for me. Day one, I need to get my hands on those. Let's dive into March, where we have some big announcements. So over in this section here, you'll see we have UK and US releases. So we've got Beauty of Beauties, a late 60s historical movie of some sort. I don't know too much about it. And we have The Inspector Wears Skirts Part 2, which the first one is just about to be released in November. So I'll probably pick up the first one and see what I think of that. And then we have the big 4K month. This is where they're going to town again. We've got A Blade in the Dark, which follows on from probably the Vinegar Syndrome release. That was fantastic. Interested to see if they have both cuts on this one. There was an extended cut on the Vinegar Syndrome release. If it's included in this, I would say definitely pick it up because I thought that was fantastic. We have Jess Franco's Count Dracula on 4K. Franco is someone that I've watched a couple of movies. I'm wary of the man, but I will probably pick that up, especially if it's part of the Italian collection, which I'm sure it will be. We have Witchfinder General in 4K, Blu-ray, and DVD. I like this movie. It's definitely one I will be picking up. The same goes for The Blood on Satan's Claw, which I really like. These kind of two films kind of lean into folk horror. They kind of kickstarted that trend. And again, 4K, Blu-ray, and DVD. It's a kind of eclectic announcement, and I really do appreciate that. Some great 4Ks announced there. So, like I said, I will be picking up Count Dracula, Witchfinder General, Blood and Satan's Claw, The Inspector Wears Skirts Part 2. I will wait and see how I got on with the first one. Definitely on Street Law, definitely on Evil Dead Trap 1 and 2. And the first one, Tokyo Decadence, just for me. Although I will say, if you didn't pick up Fight Back to School, they're generally kind of fun movies. Not the kind of thing I was expecting. The reviews will come soon for that. It's a weird announcement, isn't it? It's just, it feels like a company that's just kind of all over the place, which is interesting. Keeping you on your toes. I kind of like where they're at, and the kind of titles they're releasing feel a little bit odd. If it works for them, more power to them. I would love to know what you think of these announcements. It's a bit crazy. Lots of movies where I'm unfamiliar with them, and just digging up little bits on the internet and looking in to see what the general consensus is on these films. Of course, they are working on a kind of new collection, which they have announced as well, which three of these titles are part of. It is the Japan Anarchy, Japanarchy, which starts off with Tokyo Decadence and Evil Dead Trap 1 and 2. It's a new collection coming for 2024. I don't see any numbers on them. We're safe, folks. Which should be interesting. But yeah, 88 films just doing these 3-month announcements is wild. It's ambitious, don't always hit the targets, delays, but I do appreciate the fact that they just come out and drop all these announcements at once, and they're all kind of fun. I would love to know if you have any information about any of these releases. If you know anything about some of the ones that I'm curious about, please let me know in the comment box below, because I would love to know more to encourage my spending habits. And if there's anything there that you're excited about picking up, please let me know in the comment box below. As always, there is more content up here. You can see more of my stuff. In the description box below are links to the Patreon membership program and manvfilm.com. Always, in which you can support me. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.